Guns should be as available as shoes and seen as dangerous as a pen. It can hurt you, but it is only a tool. Gives the killer and his constituents what they want. To understand this, we must acknowledge first that terrorists are criminals and that criminals commit crime. After we acknowledge this, we can see that criminalization of semi-automatic firearm ownership is not a problem to these terrorists. In fact, it is a blessing. These animals will always find a way to get hold of a semi-automatic firearm, while the public is sitting ducks not knowing when the next attack is going to happen. Ask California about restrictive gun laws. It had the most mass murders in the country last year, but it has the most restrictive gun laws in the country. 3. Self-preservation is a human right. Imagine you are sitting at home one night and you hear a knock on your back door. So you cautiously open it. Before you can take your next breath, you are shot in the stomach. You will get to the phone and call your neighbor and your sister, but as they are on the phone to you, 4 more shots have been made. You make it to a chair where you are slumped over and you are finished off, execution style. If only you had been able to have a fully loaded gun by your door or on your hip, you would have been able to stop this attack. This is a real story by a South African farmer named Janine Allenfelt about her father. Self-preservation is a human right. 2. More people are saved by guns than are killed. Last year, some 13,000 people were murdered or accidentally killed by a firearm in the United States of America. I know that's a lot, but 500,000 people were saved. In fact, 500,000 people are saved by guns every year. Yes, that is an absolute estimate, but it is a very low estimate. Some estimates have the number at 3 million Americans a year. This means for every one person killed in the United States, there are 38 people saved each year due to the use of a firearm, and that is not including police. And the numbers are probably much higher due to the fact having a gun on your hip is usually a good enough deterrent for a criminal not to attack you. 1. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I'm half using this statement from the United States Constitution as a joke because we are talking about New Zealand law here, but on the other side of that, I say it with complete sincerity. Let me explain. The purpose of the Second Amendment is to protect the first and subsequent other rights. It is there so that if government try to infringe on the human rights of the people, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of opinion, freedom to not be searched and seized without due course, etc., etc., etc. The people can rise up against the government. It is to keep the government accountable to the people about the laws they create and the things that they do. Apparently George Washington had read Lord Acton's quote, "Absolute power corrupts." Absolutely. Now I know that George Washington died some 100 years before Lord Acton and his quote, but what is good for the goose is good for the gander. In 1971, an American psychologist by the name of Dr. Zimbardo conducted a famous experiment, now known as the Stanford Prison Experiment. I don't want to go into detail about this experiment too much, because it is a long story. Come on, really? I'm trying to do a video here. he chillingly discovered that absolute power corrupts absolutely is absolutely true. The guards started with a few hours of experiment to mentally attack these prisoners, trying to wear them down so they will not resist. The last note I want to put on this experiment itself is the subjects were controlled for narcissism so that people couldn't say that they had narcissistic tendencies in the experiment. And the guards were not allowed to attack them physically, that is why you see them attack them mentally. This experiment shows that people, first and foremost, are basically evil. And that giving unvetted control of your life to a certain person or a set of people is a bad idea, i.e. the government. Thank you for joining me here today. If you like this video, show your support so that I know to do more of these videos in the future. Leave a like, also share this video as people around New Zealand actually need to see this in the debates of gun law reform. And give a subscribe. Yeah, give a subscribe. But remember, ring that bell as the overlords at YouTube command that you do, otherwise they won't send you my content. Thank you for joining me here today. My name is Layden Pearson. I'll see you next time, but until then, stay safe, and as always, Amen.